listening to Retro Station, a retro game podcast. It's a very serious game they're covering. Anytime vampires are involved, there are pretty high stakes.
Hi everybody, welcome to Retro Station, a retro game podcast. I'm David.
I'm Hilary.
And I'm Steven.
And today we're going to be talking about Buffy the Vampire Slayer on Xbox. But before we get to that, Hilary, have you been playing anything else?
No.
I'm guessing no. You've been extremely busy.
Yeah.
Which I say every week, but this week more so than in previous weeks.
Did you make lots of money at your show?
Eh.
Made some.
I made some money, but
That's good.
not as much as I was hoping to. So.
Yeah. That's alright. What about you? Play anything?
Played games. Played this game. I played Baldur's Gate 3 Honor Mode. There was a scary part in the game where it wasn't loading my save.
Oh, that kind of scary. Okay.
Yeah. And you only get one save on Honor Mode. So I ended up restarting the system and it worked. So that was good. Especially considering it said, like, the reason for the issue might be because it's trying to pick up on mods, but I don't have any, like, mods installed anymore. So, I don't know. I just restarted it. It worked fine. But that was a little bit of a scare because I'm pretty far. I'm like, I don't know, midway through Act 2 now. And it's fun. It's a lot more challenging and I think I mentioned before where you have to do a lot more careful setups and, like, you kind of have to pull your enemies instead of just, like, running in and starting a battle and whatnot. So it's pretty interesting that way. You gotta surprise them and go invisible, walk up and they're surprised. So you get like 2 turns instead of
nice.
1. Yeah. And I think right around Act 2 you get to like level 6, 7 and then you really start to unlock like your extra attacks and stuff like that.
Right.
So, also, I have played Skyrim since we did have that episode where, Skyrim made it, twice on the list. So I was like, I'll pick that back up. I started a new character because I didn't want to try to remember where I was. And it's interesting because instead of doing, like, going right to the main quest, I figured, I'm going to walk around. Like, I've put so many hours into Skyrim. I know, like, some of the main things, like the thief story, the assassin story, the companion story, and those type of things, and the mainline story. But I was like, I'm just going to wander and see what I see. Right. And I've literally gone to, like, quite a few places that I have never been to on previous places, just, like, wandering. Because a lot of times you go to like a city and they say, hey, can you do this for me? And then it'll pop up on your map and then you go right there. Right? But yeah, it's interesting because I found different forts and I found like passes and I've done a couple quests that I've never done before just because I've went to some bandit camp out and they had a book that I read and it was like, hey, try to find this. Don't mind if I do.
Right on.
Yeah.
That's
so
cool.
It's amazing how, and I'm sure on the Switch I've put in like hundreds of hours on Skyrim. And then to come back and find things that I hadn't before is pretty wild. I've also played, because that kind of gave me an itch to play Fallout 4 again. That one I did pick up back where I was because I was kind of not in the middle of a quest at that time.
Right.
So I picked back up on that, and I'm a stealth archer in that too. I'm a big sniper rifle guy. I'm holding like 3 sniper rifles, and then I have a couple pistols and shotguns for close combat. But it's interesting because they're both Bethesda games, very similar, like lockpicking and stuff in both games is very similar. Your aiming and buttons are all very similar, but when it comes to having a bow in Skyrim, you usually just want the best bow.
Right.
And, the best bow will give you, certain perks, lots of damage, blah, blah, blah. Whereas, and maybe you want 2 bows, I don't know. Sometimes you need, like, the soul-grabbing ones to fill your gems. But in Fallout 4, every gun you pick up or modify or something gives it something totally different. So, like, I'm trying to keep, like, the higher damage weapons, but then you can't just buy arrows, because a lot of the modifier of the bow in Skyrim is, like, your bow and what it does with the bow, and then very minimal is the arrows, because the arrows are usually between, like, 8 damage and 12 damage or something, what you mostly find. And you can find arrows on everybody, and you can find, you can buy arrows, and every arrow works for every bow.
Right.
But in Fallout 4, if I have, like, all 3 of my rifles have different caliber bullets.
Right.
So I have to be very mindful of the bullets that I'm keeping and the bullets that and guns that I'm picking up to sell. And so I have, like, a really good, it's like a lucky sniper rifle that is my best one, but it's the hardest one to find bullets for. But then I also have another rifle that's a smaller caliber, but it has a night sight on it, so I can see better in the dark. And then I have one that's is a lot weaker, but it has, like, automatic, so I can shoot faster.
Right.
So.
That was the problem I had with Fallout 4, is I always felt like I was just desperately looking for ammo all the time. I'm like, I don't even know what my quest is. I can't shoot anybody. What to do.
But I have, like, not all the DLCs, but I have all the ones that give you additional quests.
Okay.
I don't have, like, the cosmetic ones.
Right.
But I'm level 21 in Fallout 4. So I've gathered quite a bit of bottle caps, and I'm pretty good on bullets as far as that goes.
I was trying to find... I was playing on console. I can't remember which one. And it would let you do mods, but it was... Or you have mods on there, but it was somewhere more limited. I remember just trying to find an infinite ammo mod just so I didn't have to worry about it. I wasn't even trying to cheat or whatever. I'm just like, I just don't look for ammo. I just want to have my gun and shoot it and be happy and fight things.
Yeah.
But
I mean, even with, like, the rifle, like, the scopes and stuff, it is very hard to see. It's a very dark game.
Yeah. Is that
I think that's it as far as the current game. I mean, those are 3 pretty deep games.
Definitely. Yeah. So I went and I played some more Harvest Moon Friends of Mineral Town. I started over entirely, and my farm is much healthier now. I started with quite a few plots of just turnips. I'm just a turnip guy. Getting turnips grown, selling them. Still don't have time to romance any women. So they need to come to me if they want some of this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm the turnip man. Who doesn't want that? I haven't had time. I'm not to the point where everything feels almost automated yet. I still have to, do a lot of work. But it still feels like I'm doing a lot better than I was when I first reviewed it, because I'm not getting, 2 seeds per every 9 I should have, because, now I know the throw them up in the air in the middle of your field trick, because that's what you do, apparently. Still think that's really weird. So that's fun.
I'm glad I picked a game that you go back to.
Yeah. Nicely done. Good job, Steve. I wish you'd get some more of your things picked. Honestly, try harder. And then I also played... I just started this last night. I played Warhammer 40k Gladius. Gladius, thank you. And it is basically like Civilization, but in the Warhammer 40k universe. But you cannot win via diplomacy or by the arts or by science, because that's not how that works.
Sounds more like Risk.
Because in the grim future of the 41st millennium, there's only war.
There's
only war. So that's how you have to win. It doesn't matter, because I didn't come close to winning anything. So I went into the game, and you can start out, there's 4 factions the game comes with. You have I forgot what they're called now, but the Imperial Guard is what they used to be called. Something.
Extra military.
Thank you. They'll always be Imperial Guard to me, though. But they're just like normal humans, essentially, with marginally better tech than what we have today. You have the Space Marines that are like super heavy armored superhumans. You have the Necrons that are sort of skeleton robots. And you have the Orcs, who are Orcs. And so I was looking at that, and the options was like, introduction to the game, play a very easy game using Space Marines. And I was like, I don't want to be Space Marines. I want to be Ultramarines, because I'll be Ultramarines too. No. I'm like, I'll just choose Orc, and I'll choose easy. That should be fine. So it started me off, and I had something like 2 or 3 units of just regular Orc boys and 1 unit of mechs. And so I go, and I'm exploring, and I found like a Vespid wing, which I guess was something important. I'm sure the Orcs really cared. And then I kept expanding further down, and then I ran into Vespids, who are these winged little dudes who hang out with the Tau. And I got in a fight with them, and they nearly killed off one of my units, but then they ran away. And that was good, because it was in time for my other Orc unit to come and join them. And then these things came that I think are called enslavers, like these floating brains. And they were a lot tougher, and they enslaved my big unit of Orcs that just showed up, who then killed my little unit of Orcs, and then they ran off somewhere. I don't know where they went, so I'm like, well, this is not going to stand. So I sent my mechs down, and tried to deal with them too, and they also got enslaved, and pretty soon everybody was either dead or enslaved. And I was like, well, it said on the enslavers that you had to kill them to get your units back, but it kept saying, end turn. And I thought, well, maybe after a certain number of turns, you just get them back. So I only lasted 5 or 6 turns, and I hit end turn until I was about at the 14th turn, and I'm like, I don't have my guys back. Nothing's happening. I think it's just
going
to
build new guys.
No, because I didn't look up how to build things, so I thought that would just kind of happen. Anyway, it didn't. So I think it would just let me keep hitting end turn until the entire game had played out and all the factions had fought each other to the death. So I'm thinking I might go back and do the introduction to the game where you play as the Space Marines.
Sounds smart.
I didn't see it often that said build something here. I found a place where they stuck flags in it, and then they're like, that's ours. And it gave me resources that probably do something. I don't know what, but I tell you what, they don't protect me from those enslavers. That's for sure. Sucked. Anyway.
Yeah, I've never played it. Honestly, I don't think I've heard about it until you mentioned it.
I think it's cool. It looks cool.
I don't know. I've never been big into I like to keep my Warhammer on the table, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know. I got Space Marine 2, and I got that because it was on Steam sale, 50 or more % off.
Right.
And I played it, and I don't know if I'm just not into that. It was like a first-person shooter, but it really reminded me of a Dynasty Warrior game because you're going against Tyranids, and they're just flooding you.
Yeah. It looks really
too
pretty.
much. It was just too much for me.
Yeah. I think the problem is the second one doesn't have Orcs and the first one does. So you should play the first one because it has Orcs.
Yeah.
And therefore is better.
Well, then 30 Hormigons would come at you and 1 Tyranid Warrior, and you had to kill the Tyranid Warrior a special way. You had to weaken him to a certain point and then use a special chainsaw move on him. So, but it was a game that, and it's probably skill issue, that you have to push all the buttons at once, and I can't do that.
Yeah.
Like in Elden Ring, where you kind of have to flow pushing all the buttons.
Yeah, and you don't have time to sit and think about it at all. It's because everything's coming at you. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't play too much of the first Space Marine. I think it's just because I got distracted. I don't think I thought it sucked or anything, but I just liked the Orcs going Space Marine and running at me. It was fun. But I felt bad shooting them because they're Orcs and they're the good guys of the galaxy and everyone knows it. So
I don't think I've ever played Civilization though either. Just wasn't my thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's fair. It's,
You said it was turn-based?
Yeah, that's turn-based, yeah. So you move all your dudes, and then whenever you're done, or whenever you hit end turn, and then whoever else on the map does things. But you only can see a limited amount when you first start. So, I didn't know who or what I was going to run into.
Right.
I thought it would just be the 4 types of people that you could choose.
Right.
But then I ran into Vespens. I was like, okay, well, I guess that's not how that works because I can't choose them.
And then enslavers, I wonder what race they were because maybe,
I don't know.
I wonder if it was like a Dark Eldar thing.
Maybe. They're real weird. I don't remember seeing them in like 40k stuff, but also I don't know all the ranges right now. But it was neat. And if there are other factions you like, there's expansions you can get. I'd wait for money. Yeah, I would wait till they're on sale. Like I got the Adeptus Sororitas on sale because I don't remember. It's not even that they're that horrendously expensive, but I still think they're kind of too much for what you have. Well, maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's not fair because it's got a cool story thing. The intro is really fun. Like the orcs are like, oh, we attacked their planet and they didn't even know we were coming. We didn't know we were coming either. We crashed into the planet. We did not drive good. It's like, okay, well, that's perfect. So, but I think it's cool. I need to learn how to play it, but I was enjoying the process of watching my orcs get just enslaved and slaughtered. It's fun. Fun.
Well, I think, because you had mentioned, you were asking me about Blood Bowl, the new season, and I had kind of talked about, I think, the video game and stuff. And it's interesting because, and I know Games Workshop is like the Nintendo of miniatures. You know, they just throw out IP and get a lot of money for it because they have a fan base that will pay a lot of money for it.
Yep.
But like, especially in the video games, I think Blood Bowl 3, I think is the newest video game, but it gives you like a taster of factions and then DLCs.
Yep. Yeah, and I it's like I somewhat get it because I understand they all do pretty different things, but I don't know, man. I still think unless there's like a deep story involved in each faction, which, you know, I said that about the orcs, but that could have just been an intro video, and I don't know if there's much story of any kind going forward. I really have no idea because I died too soon. But, you know, a lot of them, like, I don't know if it's really quite worth what you're trying to sell it to us for, but yeah. But a lot cheaper than buying an entire Warhammer army, so that's nice. I mean, it's something, sure. Speaking of Warhammer, I've started building some models lately. I built some that were not Warhammer. I built some Relic Knights models, which were one of the first games I ever kickstarted, and then that company died, so I wasn't going to end up getting it. And then someone bought all the rights to it and put it out, and couldn't fulfill everyone's for free, but they gave like a massive discount to anyone who'd been on Kickstarter before, but like he just bought the thing and he couldn't afford to give out free stuff. So, but whatever. I built those, and they're kind of neat. It's a very anime-themed game. The thing that's weird is, like, Warhammer's at what they call heroic scale. Everyone's kind of bigger and bulkier than a person would usually be. Not the case with these guys, and they can be very spindly. I have this one gal who looks like a cowboy chick, and she's got her feet, like she's walking, but her feet are basically touching each other as she's walking forward. She has her guns in her hands, but the area that you have to glue to your base is like an eighth of a centimeter or something, like, and that's supposed to hold her. I'm like, I don't even know when I hit that with a brush if she's just not gonna fly off that base. I don't know how that's gonna work.
Metal?
No, plastic. Which
pin it maybe.
Yeah, maybe, but like it's so small. I have to get like such a tiny.
I mean, if you're using plastic cement, you might be. It might stick pretty. It
might be okay. We'll see. Anyway, I did that, and then I did build some Warhammer stuff. So that's been fun. Space Wolves, mainly. And I kind of decided, because I needed a hobby thing that I'm not tying to a deadline or anything. Because all I was doing was this stuff, which is good, and I like it. But I also know that that's a good recipe for eventually burning out if all my free time stuff is also deadline stuff. I just know me now well enough to know that could be a problem. So I'm just going to, like, I'll build whatever I feel like and paint whatever I feel like, and I'm not going to worry too much about it. You know, if I get something done, cool. If I want to do something else, that's great. You know, I used to, if I was trying to do Warhammer stuff, I'm like, well, I'm going to paint this whole unit before I do something else. And there's reasons to do that, but I think I'm going to be like, you know what, if I just want to paint like one today or focus on one, cool. If I want to focus on 3, cool. If I want to do half the unit and then switch to something else, cool. Which seems very easy to understand, but I just would not do that before because it's just not how, it's not natural for me to break away from doing things in that way. But I'm making myself do that because I think that'll be good, just to have that thing that is not tied to any kind of like a real specific goal. I mean, I have an armor list for things, but you know, whatever. By the time I'm done with it, they'll change edition, and none of that will be right anyway. So that's how that works.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, but that's fun. It's vaguely game related. So, I mean, yeah, game, but not video game.
News.
There is news. Do you have news?
Okay.
I'm assuming you do not have video game news since you've been a little busy.
Yeah. No,
sewing and cutting and sewing and selling things.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, GTA 6 is not out yet, and it will not be out by the time this releases.
No.
I know that.
Wouldn't that be
for
weird
sure.
if they did just like spring it on you one day? Like,
I'd be surprised.
by the way, we're done.
But it seems that there was an announcement from Tom Howard and Bethesda that they are in the works of Fallout 5. That's about all that's been said. It's in pre-production.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming they're doing another Fallout before another Elder Scrolls, just because of the popularity of the show.
I don't know.
That's what I'd
I mean,
imagine.
because they announced the new Elder Scrolls a while back. So as far as I know, that's already in development.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how far it is. They could switch gears all of a sudden, or I don't know if they have multiple teams, or I don't know.
It's interesting because
but
I think I remember hearing something about like the next Elder Scrolls, but I haven't heard anything recently.
yeah, me neither. I mean, granted, I don't know how much they have to show on a game that big, like that quickly. I don't know. I'd rather them keep quiet about it than like make a bunch of promises and then later on it's like, oh, yeah, we couldn't actually do that, because that's always a
Well, I know
bummer.
they just released a couple months ago the remaster of Oblivion.
Yeah. So anyway, well, we'll see. I'm sure it'll be cool though whenever it comes out.
Yeah, I think that's the only real news I have.
I got a few things. A company called Retro Games Limited is releasing something called the A1200. It's kind of like a mini Amiga 1200, but it's not actually mini because it's the regular size. But it looks, but it's got games built in. It has 25 games built in. It's coming out in June 2026. It comes with a mouse, gamepad, keyboard. It has HDMI out and USB ports. Like I said, 25 games are built into it, including Defender of the Crown 1 and 2, Rough and Tumble, Beneath the Steel Sky, Lure of the Temptress, the Turrican Trilogy, and possibly Settlers 2. And supposedly you can sideload games using the USB things. I don't know how that works, if it's just ROMs or what, but you can add other stuff, and that's kind of all of them, even though I never had an Amiga, this is the one that's kind of the most interesting to me, because it's basically the same as like a certain era of PC games. That was kind of cool, and it can be a little weird emulating Amiga in my experience, so I don't know, it could be neat. I think it's kind of a cool thing, but its pre-order is 190 euros or $218 US. I'm not that excited about it, so
And what games is it playing?
it has the ones that we know so far: Defender of the Ground 1 and 2, Rough and Tumble, Beneath the Steel Sky, Lure of the Temptress, the Turrican Trilogy, and probably Settlers 2.
Is that just like a Steam Deck or like a Ally, a Rogue, or things like that? Or was this like an actual system?
This was like an actual computer. It was put out by the same people
okay.
put out the Commodore, and so this looks to a TV or a monitor. It's not like it doesn't have its own screen. It looks like just a keyboard with a mouse and or controller attached.
Okay.
And but you can hook it to your TV instead of like an old CRT monitor.
And how old are these games?
Quite
Old.
I'm gonna say I don't know.
I don't see myself paying $200+
Yeah, it's a
for this system.
Yeah, no. I mean, it was much more back in the day. I played Defender of the Crown on Nintendo, and that's pretty fun. But and I've heard of most of the other ones, but I don't know a ton about them. But I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know what else is going to be on there. If there's really cool stuff, maybe if it's ever severely discounted, I'll look at it. But
I mean, you'd have to really want to play those games in particular on that system, because it's like, especially when you're buying like one of those like even those like mini Nintendos or Super Nintendos or whatever that have the stuff already downloaded on them. You have to really want to play most of those games, because part of that price is those games.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and the Amiga wasn't super popular in the US. It was a lot more popular in like Europe, so there's probably a lot more nostalgia for it over there. And I guess it's easy to load other games in there. I just don't know the process or what exactly, how that works.
Like, for that system? Like, only games for that system, right? I assume?
Yeah, because I assume so. It's technically running on Linux and not on whatever the Amiga ran on. So it's basically emulating its original thing, but it's already tooled to work with everything you have. So,
which makes you wonder why not just get something else that can emulate those games.
I don't think there's anything that could. I'm just kidding. I have some of them. I just think it's a little weird to go in and emulate Amiga. Sometimes I find they work good and sometimes they don't. What's funny is when I've done it is it also emulates the sound of your disk drive loading. It's like for like a minute. I'm like, come on, man! Like, this is not the part anyone misses. Jesus Christ. Anyway, but that's if you want it, that's cool. So getting back to the Nintendo patent thing, on November 4th, Game Fray reported that U.S. Patent and Trademark Office Director John A. Squires has personally ordered an examination of Nintendo's patent that they granted back in September. The reason why is because there are two patents already existing that are similar. One was given to Konami in 2004, and the other one was given to Nintendo in like 2018. I didn't write the date down, but it was in the late 2010s. So, I mean, obviously it has to be somewhat different, but I guess similar enough that he's like, you can't do this again. So, we'll see.
Patent.
Yeah, Nintendo may have just gotten too greedy there, which wouldn't shock me. But, so, we'll see what happens with that, but that whole thing might end up going away. We'll see. I didn't know they could undo it like that, but I guess apparently can. And then my other news, God, I'm talking a lot of Warhammer today. Yeah, go ahead.
Going back real quick about the Amiga. So, part of the reason why we're not very familiar with it is because the Amiga came out in 85. So, it looks like the company went bankrupt in 94, but a lot of what came out was in the...
You weren't up on that when you were like 2 or whatever?
No.
I only ever saw Amiga games in a store here like once. There was like one store and they had a small little, the boxes, the computer box, they had like 2 columns down of maybe like 5 games in each column, and they were Amiga, and that was the only place I ever saw them in person ever. So I think that was somewhere in the early 90s though. It wasn't in the 85s. Because I was there alone. I don't think my parents would let me go down to game stores when I was like 8 or whatever. So there's that. And then one other thing that's coming out, I'm talking about Warhammer a lot today. I've mentioned Vampire Survivors here on the channel before. They're coming out with Warhammer Survivors in 2026. And it has both 40k and fantasy stuff in it. I don't know if they intermix. Like, I don't know if you could be like a elf of some kind from fantasy and fight Tyranids from 40k, or if it's just like you picked a Space Marine, so you're fighting Tyranids and Orcs, or you picked an elf guy, and so you're fighting Dark Elves and Undead. I don't know anything about that.
I was going to say elves and orcs.
Elves and orcs, yeah. I mean,
orcs are in both.
Orcs, yeah.
So.
You can always fight orcs no matter what. Man. So I don't know. But it doesn't, I mean...
Orcs.
I'm not calling them that ever. Screw that nonsense. Orcs. Shut up. You had it at you. Give it up. Just call them orcs, dorks. Anyway. Yeah, but it looks basically like a place like Vampire Survivors. I don't know how many of those I need in my life. Like, I don't know if there's anything significantly different about them or not. But if you want... that, but Warhammer
just loves to look at like video games and just reskin them into their own.
I think so. The Space Marine game always kind of seemed like Gears of War to me. At least the first one did. I don't know about the new one, but so I think you're right. I think they do that exactly.
You know who's really been kicking out stuff is freaking Magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't even. So it used to be like one set a year. Maybe, or like back when I used to be able to afford it, and not really, but like now it's like a new set every quarter or less.
And talk about IPs.
Yeah.
Like,
they got different things. They got their mainline sets, and then they got their like I think they're called Secret Layers.
Yeah, Secret Layer. Yeah.
And those are like the somewhat of the big IP grabbers.
Yeah.
And then they also have like mainline IP sets. So I know like like Warhammer had a big Commander release. Final Fantasy had a big release. Mm-hmm. But then in like as far as Secret Layers, there was SpongeBob. And I think most recently now it's like The Office.
Really?
Yeah, so there's
Spider-Man's a big release.
Yeah, Spider-Man's out there. I just saw an announcement they're doing K-pop Demon Hunters already.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and that didn't take long at all.
Yeah.
That's so fast.
I mean, they're just like grabbing money.
Yeah.
Printing it. But like, yeah, so it's pretty funny because there's a card that's coming out, and with the main box ones that they do IPs, so like for Final Fantasy, they made new cards. And for Warhammer, they made new cards. But for like Secret Lair, it's just old cards, but sometimes renamed, and then it'll have like the real name underneath. And then they'll have like pictures of what the current IP is.
Right.
So there's a black card it's like tap one swamp, and you get like -1/-1, or if something else happens, there's a bigger thing. But it's called Tragic Slip, and it's Kevin spilling all his chili.
Wow.
Yeah. But like, I don't know, like, and people are buying it, and like, I know the Final Fantasy one was like super popular, super expensive, and like even more now that it's not being printed anymore, but so much FOMO. But what's funny is Magic has an online video game,
right,
where it's just
it's
the game. Yeah. You're playing the game, but you can actually crack packs and buy cards for the same price as if you were in real life. Mm-hmm. And there's no way to like, to my knowledge, and correct me if I'm wrong, there's no way to be like, oh, I bought this pack, now I can like scan it and it goes into the game.
Yeah.
I think you have to, if you want your card, your $50, your set of $50 cards for your standard deck in real life, and you want your set in the game, you have to buy all of them. I played the free version of Arena. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, it was alright. Yeah.
But obviously it's very limited.
Oh yeah, they don't want to give you too much.
Right.
So they'll get our money one way or the other. They always do. I just don't know, like, if I'm playing Magic and I'm like, I don't know Magic that well, but I'm playing like some kind of like, oh, I've got my super dragon guy, and someone's like, well, here's Dwight. Oh, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. Like, it's cute and it's kind of funny, but I'm also like, if I was into the theme of the game at all, like, this is gonna pull me right the fuck out of that, because this is nonsense. Come on.
I mean, counter you with my SpongeBob.
Yeah. All right, we good with all that?
Yeah.
So we're going to be talking about Buffy the Vampire Slayer for the Xbox. Take it away, Hilary.
Yes. So this game was originally announced back in 2000, and originally it was going to be released for the PlayStation, Dreamcast, and Windows. But in 2001, production got switched over, and they decided to make it exclusive for the Xbox to take advantage of the more powerful hardware that Xbox had at the time. And so with that, this game was released in 2002 and was developed by The Collective and was published by Fox Interactive and Electronic Arts for the Xbox. It's an action-adventure beat-em-up game that's mostly third person, but then there are some weapons you use, like the crossbow, where it becomes first person. The game is it's obviously inspired by the Buffy the Vampire Slayer universe and the TV show. The game is set during the third season of the TV show, so I know I watched the show. Did either of you watch the show?
I only saw, like, at some point, I think you had me start watching some episodes with you, but I don't remember how far I got, and I don't remember it super well, so I didn't watch it, like, regularly.
Yeah, I can't recall. You said the third season?
Mm-hmm. So the TV show itself, if I remember the dates correctly, aired from like 96, 97 to 2003.
Yeah, so I would have been middle school, high school. And I know it was more probably for like a teen soap type of show. But I don't know, it just never really caught my interest.
Yeah.
I don't think my parents watched it either. I've seen bits and pieces. Like, I know of the show. It's popular. And I even knew that Angel was a spinoff of it somehow. But I don't think I've ever watched a full episode, if I've watched any.
I think 90s and 97, that's probably the problem, because that's when WCW started getting good. And they had the NWO, and I don't think Buffy could compete with the NWO, because she never tried. She was scared of them.
Uh-huh.
That's how it goes. I didn't have time for that. I'm sure it's good, but...
Yeah. So, like in the TV show, in the game, you're fighting vampires and other supernatural creatures, and you're doing hand-to-hand combat, and you use melee and ranged weapons as well. The collective developed the Slayer engine for this game, which they then utilized in a lot of their other games moving forward.
Oh.
So, and that's basically when you like level up, save up some power, and then can release a more powerful attack. So, the story for the game was written by Christopher Golden and Thomas Snogotsky, who worked on several of the Buffyverse novels. So the writers for this game, this game to me really felt like I was watching just like a mini story arc in one of the seasons of the show, and it showed because they had writers from.
So is the game canon then?
Yeah, I don't know if it's canon, but it definitely pulls in things that actually happened in Buffy canon. So,
Gotcha.
so I don't think that the game itself is canon, but there's canon brought into the game. So, the game has 13 levels that you clear by getting rid of all the enemies and defeating a boss. Some of the levels do have puzzles in them as well to move forward in the game. And at the end of each level, Buffy regroups with her allies in the library. And that's where you can basically level yourself up, get more powerful, get new weapons, and get information and so that from the different characters. The game uses autosave checkpoint system, so if you die, you come back at the last checkpoint. Some of the weapons, such as bats, mops, shovels, are things that you can pick up as you're wandering around, and they do kind of break down as you use them. So, like, if you have a mop, it might break, and then you have a stake. And then as you use the stake, it will kind of... eventually, it'll shatter and you can't use it anymore.
Oh, they should have patented that.
Some of the easier monsters to defeat, you can just defeat them with hand-to-hand combat. And then some of the more powerful ones, like the vampires, you actually have to be able to stab in the heart or draw them into daylight.
Or apparently decapitate some of them.
Yeah. So, and then the vampires will also regain health if you stop attacking them.
Rude. Yeah, I was going to say. It is, though. Yeah.
So, I mentioned Buffy's allies. So, in this game, you have Giles, Xander, Willow, Cordelia, and Angel. And all of them, except for Buffy, are actually voiced by the actors. I was kind of joking. Like, I was going to make a joke, but when I looked up the time frame of everything, I think my joke was actually right. I think she actually didn't do the voice for this because she was busy filming the Scooby-Doo movie. So, some of the villains in the game are from the show, such as Lebuck, the old one, the Dreamers, Malak, and Selitka, and the Master plays a major role. So, the Master is like kind of the old, like the really pale old guy that you see in the very beginning where she kind of freaks out. And then there's also the anti-hero Spike, and Drusilla is also in the game. Overall reviews, the overall score was an 8 out of 10. Metacritic had a 79 out of 100. Game Informer had 9 out of 10. And IGN gave it a 8.2 out of 10. One of the quotes I got was from Mark Saltzman from the Cincinnati Enquirer that said, "Video games based on TV franchises don't always live up to the show that inspired them. Fortunately, Buffy the Vampire Slayer is an exception." So, like I said, if you watch if you are a fan of the TV show, this game really feels like it could fit into the TV series.
Well, I missed that.
Yeah, you screwed up, Steve.
I do have to say, though, I watched a couple, like, other people's reactions and reviews to this game, and one person had actually mentioned, and I had forgotten, like, 2002 there was tons of games that came out in 2002, like Vice City and some other big names of games. So, like, I don't know, like, I never even knew Buffy had a game until you brought it up. I'm not surprised because, it was a big show and people love to grab IPs.
It's also interesting because it's like this game came out towards the very end of the Buffy of the TV series. Like I said, I think it ended in 2002, so 2002, 2003. So this came out towards the very end of it. So and I know that the last season or two had quite a bit of a drop. So it's, to me, that's kind of interesting that it didn't hit. They announced it when it was in its prime, but it didn't hit until it was starting to see a decrease. So
yeah, because I'm curious. Like it did get really good reviews, and rightfully so. It was a good game. Yeah. But if I was walking through the store in 2002, I would never pick it up. Even I don't know. I wasn't a Buffy fan, first of all, so that probably had something to do with why I wouldn't. But even if I was, I've been so abused by IP games. You know what I mean?
Well, the thing is too, during this period, that generation, there were a lot of, or at least a reasonable number of games based on TV shows that were just not good. There's one based on Alias, there's one based on whatever that show Jessica Alba was in, and some of the pretty suspect movies. There was one based on the Aeon Flux movie, and they were all pretty, I'm gonna say, iffy. They're pretty iffy. And so if I ever looked at this one at all, not being a fan, I probably just would have been oh, it's another one of those. Yeah. Forget that.
I would have been iffy because of how many IP games were really bad at the time. But for me, I wouldn't have gotten it because I didn't have an Xbox.
Yeah.
So and it was only on Xbox. If it would have been on the if it would have come out on the PlayStation 2, I might have picked it up.
Yeah, might have rented it or something.
Yeah.
I also at that time was really hitting my computer gaming and stuff.
Yeah.
And then if I did play console games, I didn't own the Xbox at that time. Yeah. So if I was, I was into JRPGs and stuff, so an action one wouldn't have really hit. But I was pretty surprised how good both the graphics, the story, and the gameplay was. Mm-hmm.
Me too. I went in with just
I had
such low expectations. I was I hope this is at least just tolerable. If it's tolerable, all right. That's fine.
Was this your iffy pick?
Or
was this a decent one?
I don't remember. It might have been because a lot of times my iffy picks are IPs because they can be so bad. Now they seem to be kind of hit or miss, but my iffy pick normally is the IPs. It probably was, but I don't remember now.
What I thought was cool was that even though it takes place, you said, during the third season approximately, and it does, in a way, it kind of assumes you have some knowledge of these characters because they don't introduce them really. You're just here they are, boom, they're talking. But it was also, for me, who maybe had seen an episode or two before, I don't even remember for sure what all I saw, but it was easy to get into and be okay, well, this person is this way and that's that way, and I can piece this together. I don't have to have this broad knowledge. It's all put into context, when she sees the old one in a dream and she freaks out about it. You get okay, well, that's something from her past and that's a big bad, and I bet he's gonna show up again because that's just how this would likely play out. You didn't have to really have seen that to get the idea of what's going on. I didn't think anyway.
Yeah, I felt while there was hints at the show, it was pretty contained if it was as a standalone game. Mm-hmm. I felt the gameplay it reminded me a lot of Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
Me too.
As far as, because, it was third person and there were some puzzles where you had to pick up things and put them in a certain spot or whatnot. Yeah. And then I felt the fighting was a lot more know how to exactly.
It felt like a beat 'em up to me. Like
it felt like a 3D fighting game because you had the health bar.
Yeah,
that's true.
And you were really only fighting one, sometimes a couple at a time.
Yeah,
it wasn't like they were flocking at you like a Dynasty Warriors game. It was like, hey, you slut, blah blah blah.
Yeah, they like that one a lot. But yeah, no, I agree. It reminded me of Tomb Raider 2, which is funny because it controls a lot better than the early Tomb Raiders do. Those early Tomb Raiders are almost tank control-y. It's almost closer to the more recent reboot ones, and then the fighting is super easy to get to grips with. I mean, to me, it felt like a 3D version of Final Fight or Streets of Rage. Here comes a guy. I'm gonna punch, kick, punch, kick, punch, whatever.
Right. It felt like the thing I first thought of was Tekken because it was the 3D.
Yeah.
And it was very much punch, kick, punch.
Yeah.
And then if you knocked him down, you'd stab him if you had it.
Sometimes if you got really lucky, you didn't even have to fight them. If you got that stab just at the right timing, you could just stab them before you even fought them.
I didn't have that kind of luck. I tried to hit them a few times with stakes, but then I realized, these stakes break after a while, so I'm going to if I'm holding a stake, I'm just kicking until they're down, and then I'll stab them, because I don't trust myself to, have that stake at the end of the day.
Yeah, and, oh my god, you better like puns. And you, it's funny because I never watched the show, but the puns were so early 2000 pop culture, American pop culture.
Yeah,
I understood.
Yeah.
Whoa! Let's plug my glasses to the ground.
But yeah,
there was a lot of voice acting. Everybody was voice acted, which was cool. And I think even the gal who played Buffy was not Sarah Michelle Gellar. I thought she did a really good job. Mm-hmm. However,
I'm not sure I would have noticed.
I could tell Willow was Willow, or at least someone who did her very well, because I'm used to her from How I Met Your Mother, and I kind of knew how she talked. Yeah. But they could have either used a lot more lines for the vampires, or just have them not say something every time. Yeah. Because the number of times it was like, oh, you can't beat us, there's only one of you, and whatever. I don't know. I heard that one a lot.
Well, even I think she repeated some stuff.
Yeah.
I'm a whole new Slayer or something.
Yeah.
One of the vampires, every once in a while, a vampire, when you beat him, would make a noise that sounded like Homer Simpson. You go don't!
Yeah.
I was like, well, okay.
Or scream when he died. Ah!
Yeah. The girls are like, chick fight! This is brilliant. Good stuff. Yeah. Do you... I don't know the best way to ask. So, since you watched it a lot more than either of us, and I wouldn't expect that answer to be the yes, but did the pacing of it feel like the show, where she's writing, oh, now here's a vampire, beat him up, and then move on to this other, keep exploring it. There's another vampire, beat him up? You know what I mean?
The pacing is definitely, it's a set for a video game. The shows are definitely paced differently.
I could guess, and I've never seen a show, but I bet there's a conflict that happens. Come to find out, there's a vampire or some sort of youngling behind it, and then they research how to find, kill, defeat, stall, or whatever. I'm assuming because it was a running show. There was a running big bad theme, but every episode was a new conflict.
It was a little bit of a Monster of the Week type show. So, there was some, there was an overarching story, and then each episode had kind of its own mini storyline in it, for the most part. Sometimes a mini arc would take up a couple episodes, but yeah, there was definitely, the big bad took up, kind of the whole season, and then, or seasons, sometimes even. But kind of each episode was kind of had a story that was contained within itself too. So,
and I don't think that would really work for a video game.
Yeah,
I mean, unless you were literally puzzling the whole time with one boss at the end, and I don't think that pace would have been really good.
Yeah, and there are puzzles in this game, but they're the most minor of puzzles. It's not there's nothing really you're going to be super stumped on, I don't think. Or at least not to anything that I got to. It's more just okay, well, I'm going to need to find this to unlock this thing. And so you keep going until you find it. Yeah. It's not.
Well, and it's nice, too, because they do... I don't know. They don't make you necessarily either remember like what you have to do. Like sometimes she'll like speak up and remind you.
Right.
Like I think there was a time where the power was out and the doors were locked or something, and you couldn't do something until you figured out the power or whatnot, and then like at one point she's like, I should probably go to the basement and figure out this power thing. Like, oh well, that's where I'm supposed to go.
Yeah. That is nice.
Yeah.
What's weird is because like at some of the levels, like a lot of the hallways were sort of similar, but I still somehow never felt like I was lost. Like I always kind of felt like I sort of knew where to go, and I don't know if that was just luck on my part, to be honest, or if they somehow just structured things where it made it somehow obvious without being like, here's giant arrows pointing this way. It's like you kind of figured out where you needed to be.
Yeah, like especially like that for like the first level when you're actually in the high school. Like, if you started to feel like you were kind of lost, then like someone would scream. I was like, oh, okay, I'm supposed to go over there now.
Right.
And so like they had like kind of minor things to kind of help guide you through with which way you were supposed to go.
I liked it when there'd be like another survivor and they'd be like, help me, and you'd have to actually save them. That was kind of cool because at first I thought it was just going to be this weird world where it's like, okay, everyone else seems to be a vampire but me and like my friends at the library, but they did a good job of occasionally sprinkling in like a normal person who is just in the wrong place at the wrong time and in trouble, and I thought that was kind of a cool thing.
I kind of liked how the cutscenes were part of the game. Like it would literally like just rotate and you were back in the game.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, you did like a whole new graphic.
Right.
Or whatever.
Yeah, and the graphics were good. It's not like
for 2002.
If it was like a PS1 game, like I'd kind of rather have the movie graphics for a lot of that. But they looked pretty good. Not hyper realistic, but realistic enough. Their mouths moved.
Vampires maybe could have looked a little better.
Yeah, they were kind of. I mean, I don't
know. Is that what the vampires look like in the movie or the show?
The vampires can be kind of rough in the show, so I think they look decent. One of the vampires that they reused a lot, I kind of made me laugh every time I saw him because he actually kind of looked like, to me, he looked more like the character Oz, who was played by Seth Green, who's a werewolf, not a vampire. And so, every time I saw him, it would kind of throw me off for a second because I would think it was supposed to be Oz, and then it wasn't.
And I mean, you can't, for like a video game, and I don't know what their budget was, but usually IP video games don't have a huge one.
Yeah.
But you can't expect every grunt to look different.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it is kind of weird. Like, didn't I kill you already?
Yeah. Oh, one thing I thought was kind of cool, and not having watched the show, really, I didn't expect it. I thought it was okay. I was like, okay, well, I fought some vampires, and I'm going to be doing an awful lot of that through this game. But there are other things that there's like, these were demon dog things, which when it first showed up, I'm like, oh, I'm in trouble now. And then he showed up, and I just kept kicking him, and he never even managed to attack. I kept kicking him until he was dead, and I stabbed him, and I was like, okay, cool. Well, that was not actually hard. But there are a lot of enemies to the game that are not just your regular human types. So I was worried there would not be variety in what you fought. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, well, this guy has a baseball bat now or something. That's what I was expecting. But no, there's a lot in there, which people who know the show are probably like, yeah, duh. But I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, I mean, it's called the Vampire Slayer, so you expect it to basically just be vampires.
Yeah.
So, get a little background. How does she become a vampire slayer? And does she get any, somewhat supernatural powers? Or... Because, vampires are crazy, and she's just, a cheerleader chick.
Yeah.
And no disrespect to, high school kids or whatnot.
I mean,
some of them can be pretty athletic. Yeah. But, I know if I was just thrown into a school with vampires, of all things, I wouldn't be like...
Get the cheerleader.
Yeah. Well, or me, myself, or... I don't know if I'd trust any of, the football players. They'd probably die, too.
Yeah.
So the Slayer lore is, ever since there's been vampires, there's been a Slayer. And the Slayer is always a young woman. Okay. And they do get kind of superpowers. They become extra strong and extra durable. And basically, the power transfers when a Slayer dies, a new Slayer is replaced. So in this TV series, I don't know if they ever did like a flashback of when she very first got her powers. When she first moves to Sunnydale, she already kind of she already kind of knows that she is the Slayer, and Giles is the Watcher, who is the mentor and teaches her.
And he's the one that teaches you different.
Yeah,
like he's the tutorial guy and stuff.
Yes. And so, and like he kind of like tries to give her more information. Like she already knew about vampires before she got to Sunnydale, and like kind of knew like, here's the stake, I gotta stab him. I don't know how she knew that already, but she did. And part of it didn't happen in the game, but in the TV series, there's been a couple, like, Faith is another vampire slayer that comes about because there's a moment where Buffy dies briefly, but she's brought back to life. But because she did die for a few seconds, it kicked off that new slayer.
They should all try to kill each other for like a few seconds and then just have like an army of...
Well, no, did she get to keep her Slayer powers, or did they revert back to?
They both ended up being Slayers. So,
well, because that was going to be my next question. Yeah. It's like, is there multiple Slayers, or is this just one fucked up town that's attacked by vampires?
Yeah,
like because you have like Batman in Gotham City, and you never hear about like any villains anywhere else in the world, but there's like, I don't know, 20, 30 villains in one city, whereas like. Wow, that's amazing that there is a Slayer here in this little town. It's little, right? Yeah, it's a small town in
Why
California. Why are the vampires attacking you?
So, the other part of the lore, Buffy lore, is that Sunnydale is on top of what's called the Mouth of Hell or something along those lines. And
convenient.
There's a magical seal to it, but all these vampires and supernatural creatures are drawn to it. And so... like everything is, so all these supernatural creatures are floating to the town.
I understand that. Diablo, Tristan.
There you go.
Type of thing.
It's basically Diablo, the show. Yeah. More or less.
I mean, it's interesting. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to go if it's on.
It's on Hulu right now. Yeah. I started rewatching it.
I've just been kind of seeing it as you watch it. I'm like, it's a pretty fun show, actually. I think Cordelia needs help. Her priorities are wackadoo. Like, there's vampires everywhere. It's like, well, you better save him because he's our football player and we have an important game. It's like, there are vampires murdering people and you're worried about, like, hey, Buffy, maybe you should focus on your cheerleading. I know you're kicking vampire butt, but we have an important... Cordelia, is she nuts? And is she actually, like, nuts in the show? Like, I mean, she's kind of bitchy.
If you live in a town that's just constantly attacked by vampires, then it kind of becomes like a...
I mean, she was that way before the vampire stuff started happening, so... But, she's kind of like a comic relief character, basically. One of my favorite episodes, kind of in regards to her, is there's some kind of monster creature that, like... is turning everybody's worst nightmares into, like, real life. And, like, her worst nightmare is her having bad hair. Like, where everybody else is, like, having, like, these, like, huge dramatic things happening to them. And it's just like, oh my god, my hair!
Yeah, I saw that. Like, Buffy's like, her dad was all like, oh, I don't really care about seeing you, lady. And, like, she's like, oh, my hair's frizzy and it's all tangled. Like, it's like, oh my god.
But she does... Her and Angel are the main characters that go to the spin-off show Angel, and she does have a good redeeming arc in that series, so...
Had to get her to a whole other show to redeem her.
Yeah. Like, she does kind of come around, and in the video game, you can kind of see her coming around a little bit, and versus the first season, especially, she was...
Well, she's dating, I guess in the game... She's dating the one dude, and they're always talking about boning.
Yeah.
Oh, like he's like, oh, her tires are flat. She needs a lot of pumping. Oh, like or whatever. It's like, what the hell is going on? And like she's like he's not very good at intimidating, but he's good at other things. I'm like, wow. Can you? And there's like the school librarian should be like, you teenagers. He should be like, you teenagers should not be. You're teenagers. You just cut it. No, he's like, what? I thought I was going to read a book and go Buffy and these teenagers are screwing each other. I don't know. It's like, what's going on?
He doesn't understand the American language.
I guess, maybe the jumps or the implications are hitting him. I'm not sure. It's fun, though. It's fun. I assume... No, it's kind of dumb. I assume there is a block button, but I never ever used it. And I think in most games, if there is a block button, I never ever use it. But I would just kick and hope that my kicking was faster than whatever they were doing. Except for there'd be the occasional vampire who'd come and just do the super fast flurry of blows and like hit you like 10 times and knock you back, and I could not outspeed him. But is there a block button? Did you guys block? Is there blocking? Am I crazy? I feel like there had to have been.
Blocking's for the weak.
Agreed.
I actually looked at the button system before I started playing, and I don't remember seeing a block.
Oh, okay.
So there might not have been.
Yeah.
The best defense is a good offense.
That's true.
There's no sequels to this, right?
No.
There is?
Yes, there is.
Oh, there is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called, but there is one. Yeah. She didn't voice that one either, so I don't know if she was still doing Scooby-Doo. Maybe, wasn't there 2 Scooby-Doo?
Yeah.
Maybe she was doing another Scooby-Doo movie.
It's just weird, though, because, like, there couldn't have been that many lines that she would have had to have read.
Yeah.
And it's not like she had to act them. She just would have just read them.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, she probably just was asking for too much money for the budget.
Could be.
So,
She did.
because it was being produced towards the end of the series.
She was pretty popular.
And she was doing movies at that point. So,
I mean, that's an interesting risk. If that's the case, that's an interesting risk that the game would have taken. But I don't think it really... Like, if none of them were voiced by the people, I don't think it would have been that bad.
No.
Yeah, and, like, the gal that did do Buffy's voice was good and sounded very close to Sarah Michelle. I noticed that it wasn't Sarah Michelle, but, like, I think a lot of people wouldn't have.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have. I mean, I didn't.
Yeah.
She did do voice acting in some other games. She was in Call of Duty Black Ops Zombies, where she played herself as a survivor, along with, like, Robert Englund, the guy who played Freddy Krueger, and a couple other people. And what was the other game? There was another game she was in, too, and now I can't remember what it was. But it's not like she was, like, not doing any video games, but I imagine those probably had a much higher budget to toss around than, you know, because Call of Duty's big, and I think the other one was something big, too. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But
It's interesting because I did hear Sarah Michelle Gellar during the last week that we played this game at around the same time, because Heather and I watched Scream 2, which I think came around
I didn't remember
2000.
she was in that. Oh, yeah.
Came around 2000. So
Yeah.
she is a very small part.
Yeah. She was in The Grudge, though, right? She was, like, the main
she was
gal.
main, yeah.
Yeah.
She was in I Know What You Did Last Summer.
What is with her in, like, terribly murderous situations? Like, is she just typecast as the girl who has to deal with, like, horrible murder?
She was, like, one of the ultimate survivor...
I guess. Oh,
what is it called?
Final Girl?
Final Girl, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, Survivor Girl? That's not right.
I mean, good for her. It's a fun
Speaking
match.
of which, they're coming out with a Scream 7 in February
I
of
saw that.
2026. And, like, they still have... Everyone that's a main character that has not died in this cast is still in this. Like, so the main gal, Neve Campbell's been in all 7. Courtney Cox. I mean, this may be a spoiler, but I mean, you can see their freaking names in the cast.
Yeah.
And then David Arquette, I think, is still in all of them.
Because I saw the commercial about it just the other day, and I was like, when is the last time I saw Neve Campbell in anything? Like, I haven't seen her for... I'm not insulting. I just haven't seen her in a long time. I was like, oh, that's good that she's getting stuff. Yeah. Like, that's cool.
Well, so, and this is not a spoiler. They are multiple years old. So, like, in Scream, the killers are mad because the mom of Neve Campbell was a little bit of a slut. And she had intimate relations with one of the killer's fathers who broke up their family. And so to get back, they said, oh, we killed your mom. Now we're going to kill you. Why? I don't know. So in the second Scream 2, the killer is someone also related that is related to the mom.
Okay.
Sorry. Because I forgot I watched Scream 3 also. So, okay. So in Scream 2, the main killer is the mom of the son whose family was broken up, and is now trying to kill the girl. In Scream 3, and what's funny is Wes Craven is in Scream 3, and is also the director of Scream.
Right.
And in Scream 2, they've made the movie Scream 1, which they're watching in the first thing, but it's called Stab.
Stab. Oh, great.
And they do line for fucking line of the first movie, but it's like all different characters that are playing the original people. And then in Scream 3, they're making Stab 3. And come to find out, the mom had gone to Hollywood. She went missing for like a few years. The mom had gone to Hollywood and slept with like a director. And then this director had like forced this other director to make a horror movie when he didn't want to make horror movies. And so now he's being the stab guy and wanted to kill Neve Campbell.
Jesus.
And like there's a lot of plot twists. So like in I knew who the killers were in the first one, but like in the second and third one, you'd think it's someone, and then it like is actually someone else and stuff like that. But like, it's like this mom really fucked up Neve Campbell's life.
Yeah, I was like, she's
really paying for the sins of.
Yeah, she needs to go become a nun because listen, I'm not judging anyone how they live their lives. They can have sex with whoever they want to, but every time she does, a new murderer pops up. Maybe she needs to cut it out. Like it's
but the mom's already dead. The mom is already dead.
That doesn't mean she's
so
not
like. I don't know how in the rest of the series they can tie something, because that seems to be the
mom's
thing.
Ghost.
Yeah, because I was like, well, why are there copycat killers? That doesn't make any sense, you know?
Yeah.
But like, no, it's all tied to this mom. But that was a very wild rant. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
And the mom was Sarah Michelle Gellar.
No, Sarah Michelle Gellar was in one of the.
Yeah. Well, kind of speaking of like things coming back, they actually are doing a reboot of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and Sarah Michelle Gellar is going to be playing a role in that as well. So at one point I heard she was going to be the mom of the new Slayer, but I'm not sure if that's right or if she's going to be more like a mentor to her. So
it's a reboot and not a sequel show? Or?
They said it's a reboot, but it sounds like it. But I'm not totally sure. I like some of the information I've been hearing about it has been kind of contradicting each other, so I'm not sure how much. Like I know they are making it. They started production. I think it's coming out sometime next year. But I know that Sarah Michelle Gellar is in it for sure, and then there's talks about some of the other characters like Willow and Cordelia. Possibly having appearances from time to time. So
nice.
Until she does the next Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
With Matthew Lillard, who's also in Scream.
Yep.
Yes, he is. Yeah. What's going on? This is weird.
So, and part of the reason why I actually had this game on my pick is because, one, I've been seeing a lot of information about the reboot coming out, but one of the shows I was at a couple weeks ago actually had the actress of Cordelia there, so I was getting a lot of Buffy intake when we were going through picks, and so I was like, oh, there's a game, cool.
So do you guys think that this game still holds up at this point, like worth playing, etc.?
I thought it was a pretty good game.
Yeah, I do.
It's a pretty good system, pretty good graphics.
Yeah, it's like graphics are really the only thing that kind of makes me go a little bit, but like it'd be nice if there was a like remastered with a little updated graphics. But I think gameplay,
for that era, it's not too bad. And
I think especially if you're a Buffy fan.
Oh yeah, if you're a Buffy fan for sure. Mm-hmm. But I think like I said earlier, I think you can get enjoyment out of it even if you're not super familiar with it. If you're hearing a lot of weird noises, there's sirens and there's also wind.
We're going through an atmospheric river.
Is that what it's called?
I think so.
Sure. Yeah, there it goes. Atmospheric river. I don't know. Sounds good. Anyway. Alright, so we all think this game kind of holds up, so definitely try it if you are so inclined. You want to get action game with some spooky elements. Oh, by the way, the music in this game is top notch, I think, as well. I didn't get a chance to talk about that, but I thought it was really good. So if you'd like to buy a copy of this game for your Xbox, if you want just the disc, it is $20. If you want it complete, $25. I would just get it complete at that difference.
Yeah.
But if you want it shrink wrapped, $108. I don't know why you need to do that.
I think that's a pretty good price, especially since I don't know if the Xbox consoles can backplay. So
backwards compatible.
Backwards compatible.
I'm not
but
sure.
like you could probably pick up an Xbox for like $30.
Yeah.
I'd imagine.
Yeah, they gotta be cheap. And in general, the Xbox is not a real expensive system to collect for. It doesn't, for whatever reason, didn't have the same nostalgia to it for a lot of people. So a lot of the games are not super expensive, and this is a pretty good example of that. And this is a quality one. If I was gonna pick up an Xbox and I wanted to get a bunch of good games, I would definitely look at this one as a possibility to get. All right, so with that out of the way, we got to figure out what game we're going to be playing next time. And for the type of game, we pulled Dreamcast Horror. We've done a lot of spooky lately.
The next one will not be horror.
It will not be horror. I was saying earlier, if whatever we pull can have horror games in it, I'm going to avoid picking those with everything I have. I'm going to do my best to not pick anything that has too many horror elements. So, Hilary, do you want to start talking about the games that you brought and why?
Yeah, sure. So my first game is Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver. I've played both Soul Reaver games. I think there's only 2. But it's been a while, and I know I didn't get far in either one of them, but I enjoyed what I did play. So that's just, it's a game that I would like to revisit. The next one I have on my list is Alone in the Dark. I've never heard of this game before, but it looked interesting. It kind of looked like it was kind of similar to Buffy, where it's third-person beat up, if I'm remembering the correct one.
The original Alone in the Dark was kind of like Resident Evil before there was Resident Evil. It was that kind of fixed perspective, moving around a mansion. There were monsters. Everything was made out of like 3 polygons. It was great. Amazing.
And then my last pick is my iffy pick, because it's IP, and that's Evil Dead Hail to the King. So
right on.
And that one, it looks like you're running around playing as Ash. So.
Yeah. Do you want to say yours, Steve?
Sure. So, as is the genre of horror, I just couldn't not pick this game. Resident Evil 2. It's a good game. It's fit for every genre of the horror genre that it's been, but we haven't gotten it yet. It's one of the top tier horror games of that time. And apparently it came out for the Dreamcast. So here it is again.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Another one, there was not a lot of, like, when I looked up games for the Dreamcast, like horror genre, there was not a huge list, but one that had a pretty decent rating was called Blue Stinger. I have no clue anything about it.
It was a launch Dreamcast game.
Yeah.
And it's odd. It's
Yeah.
odd. Not bad necessarily, but odd.
And then the iffy one, which I'm sure is going to be bad, because none of us have light guns, but is going to be House of the Dead 2.
Yep. I don't think I had that. I think
which is an arcade shooter.
Yeah. It's okay. It's just hard to. It's hard without a like it to whip around what you need to shoot.
Yeah.
You know what
I mean, I played Area 51 on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
Which required, your joystick of going around and shooting, and we made it pretty far in that. So I'm sure it can't be that horrible. I have played House of the Dead in arcade, and possibly 2. I don't know. But it's an okay shooter game.
I'm betting if you emulate it on PC, there's probably a way to use the mouse as your target thing, which would probably make it a lot easier. What I wanted to put on here, but I didn't because I thought it'd be a pain in the ass to actually do. They made Typing of the Dead, which is House of the Dead 2, except for your
I saw that. I'm like, how is this?
Yeah, your guys have like Dreamcast strapped to the
Dreamcast.
back and like keyboards in front of them instead of guns. Otherwise, it's like the same game. And when the zombies run at you, they'll have like a little box over their head that'll have like a word or two, and you have to type it in. And every time you hit them, every time you hit the right letter, it shoots them.
Nice.
It's weirdly fun, but I'm not a good typer. So.
They had those type of games back when I was very young, and computers were young, and we were learning. They'd have like the sharks that would come at you, and they'd have words on them, and you have to type the words.
Yeah, it's basically that, but spookier. For my picks, I tried. There's one I wanted to justify, but I couldn't quite do it. I wanted to put Marvel vs. Capcom 2 in here because Jill Valentine from Resident Evil is a character in there, and there's a move where where zombies come up and attack your opponent. So I was like, that's horror. And I could have used that as justification, but I decided that's a little bit too silly. So I did not do that. But I did get some Resident Evil stuff in here. So my first pick is Resident Evil Code Veronica. This was originally going to be Resident Evil 4, and then something, it wasn't. I don't know why. It's the first Resident Evil that uses fully 3D environments instead of the fixed perspective images. Other than that, it plays pretty much like the other ones do, but it's good. I also picked Dino Crisis, which is Resident Evil Dinosaurs.
It's Jurassic Park.
It's Jurassic Park.
It's
Resident Evil.
Very,
Dinosaurs. But I've always heard it's really good. I never played it on the PlayStation or anything else. So, yeah, I think it's a little more action-orientated than your Resident Evil.
I was going to have this be my iffy pick, but then I saw it was our list, and I didn't want to double up on it.
It's supposed to be good. I've not played it. I don't know if it's good. I've heard it was good. So we'll see. The last one, my iffy pick, is Illbleed. It does seem to have a cult following. And the main reason I picked it is because one of the bosses is a non-IP infringing evil Sonic the Hedgehog. He spin dashes into the arena you fight him. When you hit him, rings pop out everywhere. He does gigantic sharp teeth. But it's Sonic the Hedgehog. And I'm like, well, that's funny. So that could be something we play.
It can be IP infringing because Dreamcast is Sega.
Yeah, but I don't think the publisher was Sega.
Oh.
I think it's I could be wrong, but I don't think it was. So, anyway, Illbleed, iffy pick. So, now we're going to each throw a vote behind one of these to give it a little better chance in the randomizer. So, Hilary, which game are you going to vote for?
You had Resident Evil 2, right? And you had Resident Evil...
Code Veronica.
Code Veronica. I'm going to go with Resident Evil 2.
Okay. Steve, what are you going to vote for?
I'll do Resident Evil 2.
When I was choosing, I completely forgot that Resident Evil 2 is on the system. I just remembered Code Veronica being the Dreamcast Resident Evil. With that being said, I've always heard Resident Evil 2 is the best of the ones before Resident Evil 4, so I'm also going to vote for Resident Evil 2. And we're going to get Illbleed.
Just Dino Crisis.
Or Dino Crisis is at least decent, or supposed to be. We're going to get iffy pick. I have a feeling. But anyway, let's...
I wouldn't be too horrified with House of the Dead.
But you're supposed to be, because it's...
I mean, it's an iffy pick, but it's not one that's deep like Resident Evil. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I actually don't really mind any of these. I don't know what that Evil Dead game is like at all. I have no idea if that's good or bad, or if anyone likes it, or if everyone hates it. I have no clue.
I've never heard of it. I mean, I've heard of Evil Dead, but I've never heard.
Yeah,
I mean, the fact that it's on an off system, I consider the Segas past the Genesis kind of iffy systems.
How dare you, sir?
And so, also being an IP of a movie that's a lot older than the system.
Yeah. So, but the disc was made out of human flesh, which is cool. That's probably not true. Okay, let's find out. This game was published by Activision in 1999. Sunlight, turquoise seas, and a research island that shouldn't be glowing like that. Your vacation package includes complimentary monster attacks, glowing parasites, and enough canned meat to last until the sequel that never came. We're going to be playing Blue Stinger. Steve's pick.
Hey.
Steve got one. Woo!
I know nothing about it.
It's a Dreamcast launch game. I think I said that.
Yeah.
It still was. So
apparently horror.
Nothing's changed. Yeah. Blue Stinger. There we go. I think that is also kind of a cult classic. I'm not sure. I've never played it.
I think so. Yeah.
Weirdly, I didn't get that one when I was trying up launch games. I don't know why. Couldn't tell you. Anyway, so that's what we're going to be doing for the next week. Blue Stinger. Let's find out what kind of games we're going to need to bring for the next time to find out what we'll be playing the time after that. Number 1.
NES?
Okay, so it's going to be an NES game.
I like it.
Fascinating. I do too. Okay. Horror. And next one's 24, correct?
Mm-hmm.
If it's horror, we reroll. 100%.
Puzzles.
Puzzle games. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
NES puzzle games. There's a bunch on that, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So... I bet you do. I bet I know which one you know, too. Anyway, but yeah. So puzzle games, NES, that'll be the kind of game we're picking from next time. If there's a horror-themed puzzle game, I'm not picking that for my possibilities. You guys do whatever you want, but I'm not going to. Is there a puzzle horror game?
I'm sure there is.
There must be. I don't know if on NES, but there has to be one out there. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be playing Blue Stinger, and then we're going to be bringing some NES puzzle games, almost in horror games. Jesus. To pick from next time. So, you guys have anything else?
Nope.
All right. Make sure you give us a good rating on whatever thing you're watching or listening to us on, and subscribe if you could. Tell your friends about us. All these things will help us get out to more people. If you want to contact us to let us know what kind of games you'd like us to cover, because one of the things that we randomize is a fan pick, you can either email us or join our Facebook group or our Discord. All those links are down in the show description, so make sure you do that. If you're watching us and you don't want to look at us anymore, first, rude, but we are also an audio podcast. If you're listening to us and you'd like to see what we look at, look at mostly games. Look
at the camera.
We do. If you want to see what we look like, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. But we're also on YouTube, so there you go. You can listen to us however you like. You can even watch us, but turn the sound off if you want to. We're pretty sexy. So, all right, that's it. Until next time, you'll have a good one. Play Blue Stinger with us, and goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Sorry if there were any odd edits this episode. It probably happened because someone was coughing.